Everybody, I'm Tasha with the Major Change Group, and today we're going to be talking about the American Express Gold Card preset spending limit. Then also, we're going to be talking about why I think the pay over time limit is very important. Let's get into it. So the other day, I got this comment, and let's take a look. So this comment states, I wish I would have never applied for the American Express Gold Card. Having a preset spending limit is horrible. I would rather have a regular spending limit or credit limit like my other cards. I feel I have to call first and see what's available for me to use this card. So I was just like, wow, when I take a look at this comment, I really see two parts of it. So one, the preset spending limit is horrible. So even though I'm not for sure, I feel like this person recently applied and got approved for the American Express Gold Card. And in my opinion, I do feel like possibly when you first apply for it, you have maybe like a lower spending limit. And then two, they're stating that they have to call first to see what's available for them to be able to use this card. So the first thing that I would say is when we take a look and understand the spending limit, here's what it states on the American Express website. So on the American Express site, it says a no preset spending limit means your spending is flexible, your purchases are approved based on factors including your credit record, which is your credit report, your account history, and your personal resources. So to me, especially when we first apply for the card and we get approved, while yes, they are taking a look at our credit report and our credit score, they have to understand our spending first. So that's why, like when I first got approved for the American Express Gold Card, my preset limit was only $10,000. Even though I have credit cards that have higher limits, I was only approved for $10,000. And so by me continuously using the card, I feel that my spending limit eventually went up. Now, the second thing is they're stating that they don't want to use the spending limit tool. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, and they rather call American Express up to see what their spending limit is. And so you'll have to let me know in the comments, do you use the spending limit tool? When I first got the card, I did use the spending limit tool, and I did use it up to 3 times. But the last time that I used the spending limit tool was back in December. And so you can check to see how much your spending power is. But I know some people don't really like to use the spending limit tool, but I think that it's okay to use. And so when I first got the card, I tried to see if I was approved up to like 15,000, and I wasn't. And I was only approved up to 10,000. And so then back in December, I checked and I was approved for up to 40,000. Possibly what I would do is I would use this feature under the balance details with checking your pay over time limit. Now, I know your pay over time limit is not your actual preset spending limit, but I do think that this gives you a baseline. And depending on what your baseline is, maybe that's possibly enough for you to spend without being worried. So let's say one, you'll be able to see how much you've already spent on the card. Then you'll be able to see your pay over time limit. And then you'll be able to see your available pay over time limit. And so really what the pay over time limit is, if I spend $20,000, my pay over time limit is $15,000. So whatever they have my minimum balance is, I can pay my minimum balance, and then I would have to pay interest. But if I spent $20,000, then that $5,000 I have to pay off. So I have to pay off the $5,000, but I can pay over time the $15,000. So for me, this really helps me to be able to say, okay, well, at least my pay over time limit is $15,000. So I know for myself, I'm not going to spend up to $15,000, but at least that lets me know, I can comfortably be able to go and use the card. You see what I'm saying? So first, when I take a look at that comment, opposed to, having to call to see what my spending limit is, possibly you can check your pay over time limit. Or if you don't want to use the spending limit tool, then you can check your pay over time limit just to see what is my baseline, in my opinion. And I think that really helps if you don't want to have to call them all the time. It's like you really don't use this card like your other cards, and you have to give this card time, one, to understand our spending habits. You know, how is my spending going, but then also how am I paying the card off and things like that. But then also it's going to check your credit profile. And I think the main parts of the credit that they're going to be checking is your payment history and your credit utilization. So if you have a lot of late payments on there, but I think even more importantly, if you have high utilization on your other cards, then possibly it can make it to where you have a low preset spending limit on this card, in my opinion, only my opinion. So if you have high utilization on the other credit cards, let's say 50%, if you can decrease that to 30% or less than 10%, then I think one, is going to help for your credit score to increase. But then two, I believe that it is going to increase your spending limit. And then as I was stating, when I first got the American Express Gold Card, I feel like I had a lower spending limit at 10,000. But now when I check it, I have a spending limit of over 40,000. Now I'm not going to spend over 40,000, but to know that I still have a higher limit, I think with me managing my credit utilization, that really helps. So let me know in the comment, one, when you first got the American Express Gold Card, do you feel like you had a lower limit? And as you use the card, your spending limit increased? And then two, do you use the spending limit tool? Let me know if you do that, or if you actually use your pay over time limit to give you a gauge in how much you can spend. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. It's not a game,